What's up, gamers? I'm Neoxys, and welcome to another one of my videos. This time, we're playing Once Human, and today, I'm going to show you how I got two of these bad boys. Oops, hang on, let me, yeah, two of the two. But don't you worry, I can at least place them both down in my Eternal Land for all my deviations to appreciate. Anyway, fair warning, I played this build for the first two scenarios that I took part in. I do believe, as with most things, there is room for improvement, and I'll be going over the mod choices, guns, food, whims, and just about everything else except for the cradle. I haven't had the opportunity to test out all of the leatherworking buffs in detail, but I'll go over what I think is best and what I would have used if it was available during the Evolutions call servers we played on. Same goes for the gene fabrics. Now, some of my footage may look a little jumpy. That's not your eyes. The desync is actually that bad, especially in the bigger frontier battles, but you'll learn to play through it. And to be fair, this game has been updated quite a lot since it came out with new features, and hopefully some real fixes for this desync in the future. They have made significant progress since this game came out. Wait, when was this game released again? Okay, so about 5-ish months ago from making this video. Oh no. Wait, I did this joke in my last video. I was so young back then. The main weapon behind this build is the Jaws pistol, paired with a particularly powerful mod in PvP known as Heavy Explosives. For those not familiar with it, Heavy Explosives causes your opponents to stagger when Unstable Bomber explodes. Given that the effect of Jaws is 4 hits triggers an Unstable Bomber proc, in the worst case scenario, your 4th shot, your enemy is staggered and explodes, meaning they interrupt whatever action they're doing, including but not limited to shooting and reloading. The next important feature of Jaws is that critical hits count as 2 hits towards our Unstable Bomber counter. So, in order to create more Unstable Bomber explosions, we want to get our crit rate as high as possible, which I'll go over in the mod section of the video. The last 2 features of Jaws are hitting a weak spot grants you 30% blast damage, which is fine for PvP, just have to land 1 weak spot hit for the bonus to take effect, and Unstable Bomber can land critical hits with a 25% additional crit rate, which is just huge damage that will get you these kinds of numbers in Frontier Wars, if they ever come back. And holy shit, I personally hope they don't. I would not wish what transpired in my server upon anybody. I'm not sure if any other servers were this unhinged, but between the pre-rating 2 to 4 hours before war, and the spies, and the bidding with alt warbands to avoid war, and the actual 50 USD to delete our buildings before war, this shit was fun. But in the end, the trauma brought us all closer together. A rapid shot double crit rate calibration is basically required for this setup. I have tested the others and none of them feel nearly as good. The bigger magazine and the faster fire rate means more shots fired and more booms boomed. And the attack down is a decent chunk, but the math does indeed mathing in favor of this calibration. Our backup weapon, if you can call it that, is the Doombringer, which functions so well on a crit-based build it might as well be a second main weapon here. Its features are... Get out of here! Nobody needs a video on how to use you. Anyway, its features are 30% chance to trigger Bullseye, with an 80% chance within 5 meters. Defeating marked enemies grants a stacking attack buff, triggering Bullseye grants stacking damage reduction, and 30% crit when hitting marked enemies. The calibration that I use is heavy style, double crit rate, for a 4-shot double barrel that will end most players or trigger their savior at very least. My mod of choice for Doombringer in PvP is going to be Hunter's Perk. The core effect on it is reducing marked enemies' damage to metas by 20%. And hey, that's us! Almost forgot about the accessories. So for the Doombringer, we use just the tactical laser sight and smart shotgun AP ammo. The laser sight grants us a bunch of accuracy to help out our spread, since the Doombringer doesn't need more stability. For the Jaws, my goal was to make each stat as high as possible, so no compromising one place to boost another. If your accuracy is low, your shots go all over the place. And if your stability is low, the weapon bounces like a trampoline every time you shoot it. Here is my list of accessories and the final stat spread. The melee weapon for this build is, you guessed it, the Frozen Northern Pike. The only melee weapon you should use in this entire game. Oh, holy fish, thank you for making stationary that which desynchronize with us. Its features are impacts, that's sprinting melee attack, and heavy attacks will spawn a frost vortex with the additional effect of freezing the opponent for a few seconds. This is of course a fight winner on its own. The fish will also heal you for a good amount when attacking frozen targets with your melee attack. And the temperature reduction kind of seems cool. It does maybe have some potential if the opponent eventually would get hypothermia, but I wouldn't see this as a very useful trait compared to its other ones. Now you can survive being frozen if you pop a black hole. The armor setup for my build is 4-piece Savior for the effect it has, 1-piece Heavy Duty for the HP, and the Shaman Vulture Top for our key item. Starting with the Shaman Vulture Top, this top provides the key effect of gaining 35% critical strike whenever triggering Unstable Bomber. This is where the critical math gets good. If you're at the base crit rate of 35%, you go to 70%, causing more critical hits and more Unstable Bomber procs. These Unstable Bomber procs occurring after the Shaman Vulture Top trigger will have a 95% or even a 100% chance to crit, depending on your base chance. The Savior set provides us with our survivability by granting us basically an additional health bar, since it heals us automatically upon falling below 30% health. It also grants us move speed, damage reduction, and cloaking on healing. All great for PvP! Now, I did not have access to leather working in these servers. I will, however, go over what we're using now. For the helmet, I recommend Valley Cowhide as an obvious best, since you get healed upon taking a critical strike. Chest and pants are both made with Wasteland Wolfskin for stamina and sprint speed. Whatever the hell you want for gloves, cause none of them are PvP. Boots has a lot of fun options, but I think Wasteland Wolf again for flat movement speed ends up being the best. And for the mask, we have Lucky Rabbit Fur for bonus elemental damage when we crit. I make everything using the Lightning Jean fabric, as it helps to mitigate some damage in this incredibly crit-heavy corrosion meta. The lightning counter can also easily catch people off guard and one-shot them. Spend every waking moment of your life chasing this number. I'll begin with my controversial choice of Momentum Up on the headpiece. I use this over Fateful Strike for this build, as I don't believe that you need to go past 35% crit in order for the build to function as intended. Plus, I still want to be able to hit those weak spots in PvP. The fire rate portion of the magazine from Momentum Up allows you to get more explosions out faster, staggering them and softening them up for the slappy half of your magazine. The chest mod is situational. I ended up running Resist Advantage though in wars. It provides massive damage reduction, particularly against snipers and shotguns, because of how its core effect works. Stopping that initial shotgun damage or a sniper shot can be the difference in winning or losing a fight. For the gloves, we run Crit Boost to get exactly 35% crit. You can run a crit amplifier here. You'll just only be running at about 65% crit instead of 70, and then 90% crit on your unstable bomber procs. For the boots, I run covered advance, as you just have to not take damage for a few seconds to proc its buff. Easy peasy. For mask and for pants, I run double life force boost. This build does enough damage where these two slots are better used to thicken you right on up. According to the game, you can use 6 drugs, or whims, at a time. The ones that we typically used for war were the Weaver, Living Armor, Parapsychology, Predator, Spring Legs, and Utter Delight. Once you're juiced up, you're ready to go! The food I ran in war was Stardust Ratatouille, cause the best weapon damage reduction is server location desync. The drink I ran was iced tea for the same reason. Gotta go fast! Weapon damage reduction, in my opinion, is the most important stat for PvP. I try to sit anywhere between 27 to 32%, and I'm aiming for higher as I farm for better mods. Most importantly, the thing that you need, above all else, is a crap ton of sweaty gamer friends.
Anyway, so, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe for more content sometimes. Yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah. I really appreciate it.